Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning and may the Triple Gem bless you. We are meeting from Kinithulagala Forest Monastery again. In this glorious morning, you may be having a lot of hopes, goals and targets to fulfill in your life. It's a nice day, I think. It's a nice day if you try to understand the others, especially the adults, when you deal with children. Today we shall talk about children a little, because they are special. Never think the child is a small man. He is not, she is not. They need attention. And if you are a mother or father or an adult, when you deal with your child, if you are a teacher, when you are working with your students, we have to be very careful. Supreme Buddha also teaches us in different ways. When we work with little ones, adults, it's different. So we have to make our mind correct before we correct another person. For an example, when you go in an aeroplane, if there is a gas leakage, you have to wear the mask before you wear it to your child. So when you are correct, when you have correct your mind, it is easy to see the others. We cannot read others' minds, it's so difficult. But we can read our own mind, it's easy. You can understand what kind of a person you are. So today I will explain something about how we can recognize the children, how to deal with them. They are different. So one story I would say, one day a father having a couple of apples in his hands came to his daughter and showed that to the daughter. She was about 7-10 years old. The daughter suddenly took both the apples to her hands. His father was smiling still. He is observing the response of the child. The daughter had a bite of one of the apples. Still the father is smiling. And suddenly the daughter had a bite of the other apple as well. So the father's crack of smile vanished. So he was so sad, because my daughter ate both the apples without giving me, so she is so selfish, he thought. But finally she, changing the whole story, she gave one of the apples to her father and said, "This apple is more tastier than the other one, so you take the tastier one." So if you take a judgment about the child earlier, your judgment decision is wrong. So that daughter has taken a bit, tasted both the apples to give the tastier one to her father. So how nice she is. So that's how children. And also when the parents deal with the teachers, you have to be very careful and very empathetic, because if you cannot handle 2-3 children at home, how can they handle 25, 30, 40 students in the classes? It's so difficult. Children are different. And also when we advise them, when we teach them, we cannot expect the same response, same abilities from all the students. The children in your home, the sons and daughters also same. They have come. So mothers and fathers understand my son, my daughter, but they have come from different worlds. Supreme Buddha explains us this world, this life is, we are dying and born again, it's a circle. So how can we recognize where my son came from, where my daughter came from? You cannot guess. So maybe from a heavenly realm, sometimes maybe hell. So she is having those behaviors what he or she had earlier in her previous lives. So you cannot expect the same thing from all the students, all the children. So, and also you have to recognize the difficulties they have. Sometimes they may be having hearing disabilities, and seeing, those problems are there. In my case, I had an experience of one child. He was having he was hyperactive. Before the question finishes, he has stood up and answering the question. the teacher hasn't finished the question, still she is explaining, giving the question. So, but today I heard he is a teacher, so can develop, each and every child has a potential to be a good person. So, to make a good person, parents and teachers have to have a good idea about their children. And also there are multiple intelligences. Some of them are musical intelligences are there in some of the students. It's very rare. So if you ask a child to sing a song who doesn't have that intelligence, it is so difficult to make a very popular singer from that poor child. Sometimes they are intelligent in body kinesthetic, so they are capable of running and dancing using their body. Some of them are linguistic intelligences are there, so they can write different things and speak nicely, different languages they will learn. So there are different abilities among children. So you have to recognize those abilities and develop. So in these kind of Sri Lanka like countries, the parents, they like to make their son or daughter into a doctor. You want to be a doctor in the future, you want to be an engineer in the future, but all the children in this world, they are unable to be a doctor or an engineer, but they will be able to be a good person, good-hearted, free-thinking, nice person. That must be the target of the parents, because only developing the cognition development, the knowledge is not enough. They must be able to use that knowledge and do something. So you have to develop their hands also. The knowledge, the brain and the hands also not enough. When they develop something, when they do something to the society, they must have a good heart. So then the attitude must be developed. If the attitude is not developed in the children's mind, they will do different kind of disasters to the society. For an example, the person who is creating a weapon, he does not do any good to the society. The war is not a good thing. Killing people, killing animals is not good. So weapon beyond a gun or any kind of a firing weapon, we do not use to make the people or animals happy. So that kind of a creation is not appreciable from the good people. So then have to understand what kind of a good person I can make from my child. And also there are senses, eye, ear, nose, likewise, have to develop all those. Our eyes are very sensitive and we can see a lot of things, but when we take human beings, when we compare to the other animals, we are very poor in hearing, touching, smelling, in those senses. I can remember one school when I was working in my lay life, the teacher brought a lot of vegetables and asked the children to touch them, smell them, eat them, to taste. These experiences are very important. Another story I would say, two boys about 12 years, 13 years old, they covered their eyes, properly covered, they cannot see anything, and they were given a cord, a wire like something. Both of them touched. One, after touching, took the hand out at once and said, "It's an earthworm." The other boy touched and recognized, this is a cord, this is a piece of wire. After untying their eyes, the child who recognized it as an earthworm, wrong decision, he can see it properly, but the other child is blind, who gave the correct answer. Why? He is not using his eyes, so he is using his ears, nose, fingertips to touch and hear and feel. So he is capable of touching and understanding things. So you have to develop all the senses. When you develop all the senses, even the mind, you can create a good person. You can develop a good person and Parents can be happy in the future. Teachers can be happy in the future. Always remember, the child is a child. He is not a small kind of a human being, because sometimes we see there are teachers, parents, they punish children, students. If you really want to punish, I don't advise you to punish, because Child Protection Authority will catch me for advising for punishments. But if you really want to punish, when you take the cane into your hand, decide how many shots you give. Already your anger has gone. With anger, with hatred, when you punish children, you hurt them, or not only their body but their heart. It is not good. So recognize children, treat them very well, to make a beautiful world in the future, to make good-hearted people in the world, to make empathetic, nice people for the future. That's how Supreme Buddha asked us to make a good heart, not only the knowledge, not only the ability of working with the hands, but also the thinking way. So have a nice day. You may be able to work with your children, deal with your students very nicely today. So we wish you all the best, and may the Triple Gem bless you.